Amaka positioned herself by the window, leaning closer to the adjoining flat. Stanley's voice, her neighbor, boomed loudly. "You think I'm stupid, Angela? Someone spotted you at that hotel, conversing with another man." Angela's voice quivered. "Husband, I have no idea what you're talking about. Be quiet. You think I didn't hear where you went? Don't worry. God has revealed your actions today. I will call your parents and bring you back." Amaka grinned to herself. She pressed her ear closer, absorbing every word. After a few moments, she swiftly tiptoed back to her apartment. Her husband looked up from the couch. "Why are you grinning like that?" "Ah, my dear husband, you won't believe what just occurred." Amaka dropped her bag. "Amaka, what's going on?" "Yesterday, I spotted Stanley's wife, Angela, at a hotel. She was seated with another man, laughing and drinking. My faith was shaking, so I immediately called Stanley. And I said, 'Good afternoon, Stanley. Congratulations on your promotion. Your wife is here celebrating.' But Stanley replied they weren't celebrating anything. I was taken aback, but then shared everything with him. So Stanley is scolding her right now." "What?" Emmanuel frowned. "You called her husband? Why would you do that?" "Of course I ought to. That's what a good neighbor would do. If I stay silent, our wrongdoing will multiply and the blame will be on me." He rubbed his forehead. "Amaka, it's not your concern. What if that man was her business associate? You should have let her husband discover it on his own." She shook her head. No. That's not a business discussion. Look at how they were laughing. You can tell something was off. And did you know that when she spotted me, she pretended not to recognize me? That alone reveals everything." Emmanuel stood up slowly. He didn't want to argue again. He walked into the bedroom. Amaka hissed softly. Trouble. "I'm simply aiding the next generation. How can she claim to be a Christian woman in fellowship and still be seeing another man? Please God, thank you. I have done my part." She turned on the TV, still smiling, firmly believing she had fulfilled her duty to the Lord. Amaka received an invitation to a baby naming celebration. She had just had her head tie and beamed as she stepped into the yard. Holding the infant with both hands, she gently swayed the baby back and forth. "What a lovely child. Thank you, Father," she expressed with delight. Amaka sang more enthusiastically than anyone else and presented her gift, a neatly wrapped bag of baby clothes tied with a ribbon. As she left the event with her friend, Chidima, she leaned in to whisper, Chidima, what's going on? If I speak, you will say I'm being too chatty. Don't you find that the baby doesn't resemble the father?" Chidima looked at her, confused. "Amaka, why would you say that?" Amaka lowered her voice further. "Look closely. The baby doesn't resemble either of the parents. If I were the mother-in-law, I would demand the DNA test. The baby looks more like the security guard." Chidima frowned, glancing around. "Amaka, please lower your voice. Someone might overhear me." "Who will hear me?" "People have noticed too. Didn't you see how they were leaving the event, murmuring and shaking their heads? Didn't you notice?" Chidima paused. "I honestly don't know what to say. Just be careful." The next morning, Amaka visited the market to buy groceries. While wandering through the stalls, she spotted the newborn's grandmother by the tomato stand, Paul's mother. Amaka beamed and walked up to her. "Good morning, ma. Congratulations. A handsome baby. The baby is so cute. Ma, your family's lineage must be quite strong. The baby resembles your second son." "My second son? I don't have a second son." Paul's mother slightly furrowed her brow. "The one who served drinks at the naming ceremony yesterday. That's not my son. That's our security guard." Amaka's smile faltered for a brief moment, but she quickly regained her composure. "Oh, really? I wasn't aware of that. You know how children are. They tend to grow up looking like their parents later on." "Anyway, I had a lovely time yesterday. Please convey my regards to your daughter-in-law." She walked away with her grocery basket, humming softly to herself, while Paul's mother remained quiet, feeling a twinge of unease. Right there in the market, Paul's mother pulled out her phone and dialed her son. "Hello, Paul." "Yes, Mama, what's the matter?" "I need to ask you something. When you travel for work, who usually stays with your wife at home?" We have a cook, a cleaner, and of course the security guard. You've met him. Why?" The woman paused. "You know, people are starting to say things. They claim the baby doesn't resemble you." Paul sighed heavily. "Mama, please don't start this. You know, Kate, when I married her, she was a good woman. Don't let gossip ruin what we built." "Paul, calm down. I didn't intend to upset you. Perhaps a DNA, what? A DNA test? I see. Listen, Mama, if you want to keep believing rumors, then please don't come to our home anymore." The call ended. Paul's mother stood frozen. In the market, still holding her phone, she didn't know what to say. The tomatoes in front of her blurred as tears welled in her eyes. People nearby watched quietly, as she let out a deep sigh. One afternoon, Amaka was cooking plantain when a red jeep parked in front of her home. A man was driving it. Jennifer, a neighbor, quickly exited the vehicle. Amaka hurried outside. "Good afternoon, sir. You're welcome to our humble estate." She grinned at the man and then turned her attention to Jennifer. "Ah, Jennifer, you look stunning. Welcome. How's business?" Jennifer sighed and muttered gossip quietly as she walked inside. Amaka frowned. "Why are you being so rude? I'm merely greeting you," she said softly. The man waved goodbye and drove away. 2 days later, Amaka was at the salon assisting a customer with her braids. Madam J, a well-known designer, entered. Amaka beamed. "Good afternoon, ma. Welcome, welcome. Oh, I adore your car. It suits you perfectly, Madam J." "Thank you, Amaka. I'll take a seat." Amaka chuckled. "With all the blessings people are receiving in this area, I hope God remembers me as well. Just think about Jennifer, that young lady, already driving the same car model as you." Madam J turned. "Jennifer? Yes, it's a red Jeep, plate number XL442M. She was dropped off by a man, bald, slightly plump, with a mustache." Madam J froze, but managed a smile. Amaka added, "Maybe he's even her boyfriend. But as I said, God is blessing everyone. She looked so lovely when the man brought her home. Oh God, thank you. I've received your miracle." Madam J remained silent. The next morning, the whole street was buzzing with noise. People were congregating outside. Madam J was shouting in front of Jennifer's house. "You are lying. You told me you came to work at my house and now I find out you are seeing my husband." Jennifer sobbed. "Please, ma, it's not what you think." Before she could finish, Madam J slapped her. "Shameless girl, look at you, pursuing married men." A crowd gathered, murmuring. Amaka dashed out of the salon. "Please stop, Auntie J, stop. Don't fight again. Calm down." Madam J pointed at Amaka. "Amaka, God bless you. If not for you, I wouldn't have discovered this." Amaka gave a slight smile.
"It's all right, madam. I'm just assisting. You see, if I hadn't told you, I'm not sure what would have happened next. Sometimes, the truth must be revealed, even if it hurts." Jennifer sat on the ground, weeping, while neighbors whispered among themselves. The atmosphere was thick with tension. Amaka observed silently, her heart beating a little faster. She smiled faintly, believing she had fulfilled her responsibility. One evening, Amaka was washing clothes when she overheard a fight coming from her neighbor's apartment. She set down her bowl and rushed over. She knocked. "Please, stop fighting! Stop fighting!" No one responded. She opened the door and stepped inside. The husband and wife were arguing loudly. Amaka attempted to soothe them, but the man raised his hand. The slap hit Amaka's face instead. The man gasped in shock. "Hey, Madam Amaka. Oh, look at what you've caused. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to." Amaka remained silent. She walked away quietly. When Emmanuel returned home, he noticed her sitting with a swollen lip. "Amaka, what happened?" "I went to break up a fight. He meant to hit his wife and struck me instead." He sighed. "Amaka, this is why I advise you to stay out of others' affairs. So I should just stand by and watch people fight to the death? What if something terrible happened? Wouldn't we bear the blame for our silence?" He took a towel, soaked it in warm water, and gently placed it on her face. Amaka flinched but spoke softly. "I was just trying to help. What if they had killed one another? The police will come here to arrest us and there will be blood on our hands. I was only trying to assist." The August meeting arrived. The women gathered for their regular meeting. Laughter filled the atmosphere and voices intertwined. The secretary announced that someone had an important message for the gathering. A young woman rose to her feet. Her name was Sandra. "Good afternoon, aunties. I'm here to let you know that I'm getting married soon. My mom suggested I officially invite all of you since she's part of your group." The women applauded and cheered loudly. Amaka participated enthusiastically, singing louder than anyone else. When the food was served, she took 2 plates home. She smiled the entire way, humming softly. Weeks passed. Nothing was mentioned about the wedding again. One afternoon, Amaka encountered Sandra on the street. "Ah, Sandra, are you hiding from me? How have you been? It's been a while." Good afternoon, ma. I'm fine. Amaka beamed. I haven't heard any news about your wedding. What happened? Sandra appeared uneasy. Ma, we are still in the planning stages. Once everything is in place, we will let you know. Amaka leaned in closer. Sandra, I view you as a daughter. You can share what's happening with me. Ma, there's nothing to share. If that's the case, I'll be keeping you in my prayers. That evening, Amaka was at her salon with 3 other women. She lowered her voice and spoke in a soft tone. You ladies won't believe what I just found out. Did you know that Sandra's wedding has been postponed? The women turned their heads in interest. I saw her today. Oh my God, you won't believe it. Her belly was already showing. I think she's expecting. That must be why the man called off the wedding. One woman gasped. Expecting? Yes. You know how girls nowadays act innocent, but they can't control themselves? That's why men choose not to marry them. I'm sure her mother is hiding the truth. The women laughed. Someone shook their head. May God help this generation. A few days later, Sandra cried in her room. Her grandmother sat beside her and asked kindly, What's the matter, my child? Grandma, it's Auntie Amaka. She's telling everyone that I'm pregnant. Can you believe that people online are congratulating me on my posts? How can I defend myself? And she's one of the leaders in my mother's meeting. She doesn't realize I have a medical condition. It's not pregnancy. Now even my fiancé is asking me if I'm expecting. The old woman let out a sigh. Don't fret, my child. All power lies with God. Dry your tears. I'll prepare your favorite meal. Everything will be all right, dear. Days went by. The gossip spread far and wide. Amaka found herself in the spotlight once again, and she enjoyed it. However, one morning, she awoke feeling unusual. Her abdomen felt constricted. By evening, it had expanded. What is going on? Maybe I'm just bloated. I need to relieve myself. The next day, her belly had grown larger. Her husband looked concerned. Amaka, you should see a doctor. She went for a consultation. After examination, the doctor informed her, There's nothing here. You are not expecting. But doctor, I sense something moving. It might be indigestion. You are already in menopause. Confused, she returned home. The next day, her abdomen worsened. Some neighbors began to gossip. Have you seen Madam Amaka? Wonders never cease. Did you hear she's expecting? She's pregnant at her age. Amaka shut herself indoors. She couldn't attend church. She couldn't go outside. At night, a strange sound began to disturb her, a gentle chirping. She sat up, awakening Emmanuel. He yawned. Maybe it's the birds outside. Go back to sleep, sleep. But it wasn't coming from outside. The sound was emanating from her abdomen. Amaka placed her hand on her belly. The chopping grew louder. Her eyes widened. She switched off the light and sat quietly. The sound continued. It only grew in intensity. In less than 2 months, Amaka's belly had expanded to the point where she could barely stand upright. When she visited the market, people turned to stare. As anyone approached, a faint noise started to rise, the chirping of birds. One woman remarked, Madam Amaka, are you selling birds now? No, I'm not. Why would I say that? Then where is that sound coming from? Is it inside your bag? Please step back before the birds pick my tomatoes. The crowd erupted in laughter. Amaka's smile faded. She tightened her wrapper and walked away in humiliation. Wherever she went, it was the same. People whispered, some chuckled behind her back. That night, she sat alone in the dim sitting room. The house was dark. She fell to her knees and cried, begging God for mercy. As time went on, the situation deteriorated. Flies seemed to follow her everywhere, even in their absence. Children in the area began to refer to her as Madame Bird. When Emmanuel saw her one evening, he shook his head in disapproval. Amaka, you need to hear me out. This is not normal. You should go and apologize to those you have wronged.
Someone is after you. She wept quietly. Look, crying won't fix anything. You need to make amends or I'll have to send you back to your parents. The next morning, Amaka started visiting homes. She knocked on doors, shaking as she spoke. Please forgive me if I've ever said anything hurtful about you. She arrived at Jennifer's house. Jennifer opened the door and looked displeased. Amaka knelt down. I'm truly sorry. I thought I was helping. I should have stayed out of other people's affairs. I sincerely apologize. Jennifer stared silently for a moment before nodding. Please get up and leave in peace. Amaka exited, wiping her tears. Eventually, she found herself at Sandra's gate. Auntie Amaka, what do you want now? Do you have another story? I'm not here for that. Whom are you planning to gossip about this time? Amaka dropped to her knees. Please forgive me. I spoke poorly of you. Auntie Amaka, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm innocent. Please don't involve me in your tales. I know you are not at fault. I never claimed you were. But I'm just asking you, please forgive me for all the gossip I spread about you. Sandra remained silent and retreated indoors. Upon returning home, Amaka collapsed on her bed and cried. By the next morning, the chopping had ceased. Her stomach had shrunk significantly. By the following day, it was entirely flat. She touched her abdomen and began to weep again, this time out of relief. No one had to remind Amaka. She had really learned her lesson. Whenever she spotted women gossiping, she would flee as fast as she could. She steered clear of any discussions about others. Even casual whispers made her uneasy. Amaka recognized the risks of interfering in people's personal lives. Please understand this. Not everything warrants our input. At times, it's better to keep our thoughts to ourselves. She lived modestly, no longer spreading rumors. Her days became serene and tranquil once again. Neighbors noticed her transformation and honored her privacy. Amaka's husband Emmanuel smiled with relief. No more odd noises, no more public humiliation. Gradually, her life returned to its normal pace. She visited friends cautiously, always favoring silence over gossip. Amaka prayed in silence each morning and night, thanking God for his mercy and second opportunities in life. The conclusion of Amaka's trials taught her greatly. Her reputation, once stained by her deeds, began to mend slowly. The neighborhood learnt about the consequences of spreading rumors. Amaka disclosed nothing, observed patiently and prioritized her family. Her behavior became a valuable lesson for those around her. At times, silence is the smartest decision a person can choose.